That was U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Ambassador Nikki Haley, here with me now to discuss Christian Whiten, Center for the National Interest, Senior Fellow, also former State Department Senior Advisor under President Trump and George W. Bush, Emily Jasinski, Washington Examiner, commentary writer, and Beverly Hallberg, District Media Group President, and also a Hill contributor. Christian, let me start with you. You understand this diplomatic process as well as anyone else. You've served under two presidents. I think what Nikki Haley has been doing at the United Nations has been remarkable, absolutely spectacular. She's been extraordinarily firm, but the question now is, how does the United States follow up on this? How do we follow up on, for lack of a better word, telling folks that they go against us the way they have been, that they're going to pay an economic price?
Yeah, there have to be consequences, and that's something a lot of people at the UN don't understand. Even countries with whom we have friendly relations at the leader-to-leader level, for some reason, when you get to the UN, it just goes downhill. Case in point, today, at least there were some countries that are allies of ours that abstained. Canada, at least, abstained. Australia abstained. Not so for Great Britain. And this is a country that wants a free trade agreement with us. I'd say that we should make them wait. Listen, what Haley did today, this is the first time since Jesse Helms threatened the UN and actually held up some of their money. And if people think that the Trump administration won't follow through, well, look at the successes we've racked up, taxes and a number of other accomplishments with the economy. So I think it actually could happen, and certainly it should. Yeah,
I could do a whole segment on how Theresa May has been thumbing her nose at President Trump for the last couple of weeks, but we'll stay focused on this for now, Emily, and remind the audience that America pays 22% of the UN's budget, 28% of the peacekeeping mission budget, and listen, and they've got maybe $1 billion in parking tickets right here in Manhattan. This is certainly something we should be able to push back on.
Well, yeah, Nikki Haley was really sure to mention that. She talked about today, she was really sure to mention that. She talked about how the United States puts a lot of money, contributes a lot to the UN, and expects that its goodwill will be noticed and respected by other people at the UN. And of course, she saw this vote today as an indication that that is not what is happening. And I do think it is key to look at who abstained versus who voted for that who voted today, when you have the United Kingdom, France, and Germany voting for that resolution versus Canada, Mexico, and other allies not abstaining from the vote. That's key. Sure.
Beverly, of course, President Trump, one of the big things right out the gate was pressing Europe to do their part, pay their part, for NATO and things like that. And, it's really extraordinary that we can't get our European allies to agree on the central flashpoint of where the next major world catastrophe could happen. You're an expert in optics. Why is this? What's holding them back? Is it a prejudice, or is there something else going on here?
Well, I think many people want there to be peace between Palestine and Israel, and I think that they're saying to themselves, well, we have to wait for peace to happen. But when you take a look at the reality,
Beverly, doesn't it feel like the UN knows it's in a de facto manner always blaming Israel for the problems there?
Absolutely. Even when you take a look at votes against Israel in 2017 alone, there were 21 votes against Israel. But when you take a look at Iran and North Korea and Russia and other countries combined, there were only 5 votes against them. So there's definitely a bias. And I would even say this decision that the General Assembly made against the United States on U.S. soil, when we spend $8 billion a year, I think the best statement from Nikki Haley was when she said, we will remember next year when we are asked to pay. So I think this payment makes sense. And I would say that this is not just a knock against Israel now, this is a knock against the United States.
Christian, I just had the Israeli ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, here, and he applauded President Trump, saying, "Hey, he was okay with a two-state solution." He thinks that could be a critical part of the ultimate peace process. What are your thoughts?
I think so, but the big deal with Trump recognizing Jerusalem as the capital is turning the page on the idea that solving the Israeli-Palestinian dispute is what solves all of the problems in the Middle East, and we just need to find the right combination of inducements to do that. The real problem driving all these other problems in the Middle East is Iran. Saudi Arabia in the past has gotten an honorable mention with its support for Wahhabism, but Iran is the real culprit today, and you have to solve some of those problems, and then I think you'll see Israel-Palestine sort of solve itself. But this moving the embassy is a recognition that what we've done in the past and that the catechism that the foreign policy establishment had just isn't true.
Well, you know what? It's been a long time, and we've tried a lot of things, and they certainly have not worked. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.